On the wedding day, the groom's fiancée was suddenly ambushed by their family's enemies, who'd come to kill her. But instead of hiding, she shoved the groom right in front of the hitman. You gotta know, this fiancé had been paralyzed for years, stuck in a wheelchair the whole time. Yet in that moment, she hopped right out of that chair, spun around, and threw herself in front of the groom's older brother to shield him tight. It was only then that the groom fully realized his fiancée's legs were never broken at all, and the person she'd always loved was his own brother. In the end, filled with resentment and regret, the groom was brutally murdered by the enemies. Luckily, fate gave him a second chance. When he opened his eyes, he was back to the day his family was choosing his bride. Just like in his past life, his older brother spoke up first, telling him, "You pick first," obviously putting on a show of being generous in front of their dad to score points for being humble. Last time around, he saw how close his brother was with Chang Yeye, the rich heiress. They had chemistry, so he wanted to play matchmaker. That's why he deliberately chose Gu Ruyan, the paralyzed woman who'd even been kicked out of her own family, as his fiancée. But now that he's got a second shot at life, he didn't have feelings for anyone anymore, and he sure as hell wasn't gonna let those two get what they wanted. Right then and there, he pointed straight at Chang Yeye and said, "I pick her." As soon as the words left his mouth, his dad was the first to blow up, pointing a finger at him and yelling, "You're doing this on purpose to mess with your brother, aren't you?" That's when he figured it out. His dad said he could choose freely, but it was just a formality. He didn't want to get labeled as biased toward his illegitimate son, referring to the older brother. Amid all the chaos, Gu Ruyan, who'd been in the wheelchair this whole time, suddenly stood up and dropped a bombshell. "I can invest 1 billion yuan to fill your family's cash flow gap. But the condition is, I marry the eldest young master," meaning the older brother. Seeing how dead set she was, a light bulb went off in his head. Gu Ruyan must have been reborn too. His dad frowned and asked, "Weren't you kicked out of the Gu family a long time ago?" Gu Ruyan let out a cold laugh. "That was just a smokescreen from the Gu family. If the eldest young master agrees to marry me, I'll make the Gu family announce I'm their heir tomorrow." He was shocked. This time, just to marry his brother, Gu Ruyan was even willing to reveal her biggest trump card. She even said she'd cover 30% of the marriage dowry. His dad did the math. The Gu family was way more powerful than the Chang family. He immediately gave the okay, "Fine, you can marry into our family." This made Chang Yeye furious. She stamped her foot and shouted, "I'd die before I marry the younger brother." Right then, his older brother stepped up, pretending to stick up for him like a good guy. Chang Yeye was even more touched by his kindness, saying, "10 years ago, Ruyan and I fell into the water. It was all thanks to you, big brother. We'd be dead without you." Little did she know, he was the one who'd actually jumped in to save them back then. When he pulled Gu Ruyan out of the water, his older brother kicked him right back in, then took credit for saving both girls like he was some hero. He almost drowned, and it was only lucky that a maid passed by later and fished him out. Now, looking at these two ungrateful jerks, he said coldly, "I don't want either of you." His dad flew into a rage. "You don't want to do the arranged marriage? You just want to mooch off this family forever?" He shot back right away, "I'll take over the mess that is Ting Yuan branch. That's my condition for skipping the marriage." His dad had been dying to dump that hot potato for ages, so he agreed on the spot even though the son had always been his least favorite. Last life, he'd been so focused on curing Gu Ruyan's paralysis that he had no energy for work.